Hey guys, welcome back to another video in the series of Bash scripting for beginners or shell programming for beginners. And today's video is one of the most important video in this series because whatever we are going to learn today is going to help you in the future, and you can say it is just a building block of every script or every program that you will write in shell scripting. So let's get started. So we are going to talk about two things today, operators and conditional statements. There are various types of operators. We are going to talk about everything and then if else statements for the conditional statements. Now, this video could be too big. That's why I have divided this video into two parts. First part would be the theoretical part, in which I'll explain about everything in a theoretical format with a bit of examples. But in the next video, which is the second part of this video, I'll be explaining everything in a demo format. So I'll be writing every code and I'll be explaining after running all of them. So stay tuned. Before starting, I would like to request, if you have not subscribed my channel yet, kindly do so. So without further ado, let's dive right into the video. So we have five types of operators in shell scripting. First is arithmetic operators, second is relational operators, third is boolean or you can say logical operators, bitwise operators, and then fifth one is file test operators. So here is an example of arithmetic operators. You can see there are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, assignment, equality, and not equality, or you can say not equal. So how do they work? Addition is the basic thing. It adds the either side of the operator. If a plus b, $a plus $b will give you 30 if $a is 10 and $b is 20. Now, if you subtract, so let us consider $a is equal to 10 and $b equal to 20, and then let's see how this works. So subtracts right hand operand from left hand operand. So 10 minus 20 would be minus 10. Similarly, multiplication, $a divided by asterisk into $b is 10 into 20 is 200. Similarly, if you divide it over here, then it will give you 2. So $b, which is 20, divided by 10 will give you 2. In case of modulus, 20 divided by 10 gives you 0 because there is a 0 remainder. Now, had it been b equal to 21, then it would have given 1 because 1 is the remainder. Assignment operator, a equal to $b would be assigning the value of b into a. So if a equal to 10 and b equal to 20 and you write in the next sentence $b, then $b is assigned to a, then a becomes 20 and $b is already 20. Equality, it compares the value of $a and $b and it will return false. Why? Because 10 is not equal to $b. But here 10 is not equal to $b, which is true. So this would return true. Let's move forward. Let's talk about the relational operator. So relational operator is -eq, which is equal, -ne, which is not equal, gt is greater than, lt is less than, ge is greater than equal to, and le is less than equal to. Now, $a hyphen equal $b, 10 and 20 is equal is not true. So this is not true. $a hyphen ne, which is not equal to b, is true because 10 is not equal to true. 10 is greater than b? No, 10 is not greater than b. 10 is less than b? Yes, 10 is less than b. This example is the same thing, which is $a equal to 10 and $b equal to 20. $a equal to 10 greater than $b, which is 20? No, that's not true. So it will return false. $a less than equal to b is true. So, okay, so let me explain greater than equal to and less than equal to. So greater than equal to is not exactly one condition. There are two conditions. First is greater than and second is equal to. And one of these two conditions, if get fulfilled, then it will return true. So first condition is greater than. No, it's not greater than. Or equal to. No, it's not even equal to. So it's not true. So that's why it will return false. Now A, which is 10, B, which is 20, is less than or equal to? Is it equal? No. But is it less than? Yes. So it is true. So out of two conditions, it has given one true. So you can read it out, like checks if the value of two operands is equal to or not, it is not equal to, it checks greater than, it checks less than, it checks greater than equal to, and it checks less than equal to. Let's move forward. Now we have Boolean or logical operators. So this is not equal to sign, which is logical negations. This inverts a true condition into a false or a false condition into a true condition, which is vice versa. So exclamation mark false, this bar bracket is test. I'll explain you in the video further. So whenever you have to test a condition, you can put it into this and it will give you a value. So this would be negation false would be true, or negation true would be false. Logical OR. So logical OR is like testing two conditions. So $A is less than dollar is 20, or $B is greater than 100. It is true. Why? So A was 10. So 10 is less than 20? Yes. So one condition over here becomes true and this condition is false. But it does not matter because one condition out of these two conditions has to be true. So this is 10 is less than 20. This is true. That's why it's written true. But in the same case, if you use AND over here, you will not get true because it needs to have this condition and this condition. It means both the condition has to be true, otherwise it will give false. Logical OR can be used by two bar buttons and logical AND can be used by two ampersands. So that's how Boolean and logical operators will work. So I hope you guys have understood it. Now let's talk about the bitwise operators. So first bitwise operator is ampersand. Bitwise AND operator performs binary and operation bit by bit on the operands. I do not have a working thing right now, but when I'll show the demo in the next part, it will be much more clear. Similarly, bitwise OR operator performs binary OR operations bit by bit on the operands. Binary means 0 and 1 values. I'll give an example. Bitwise OR performs binary OR operation bit by bit on the operands. Bitwise complement operator performs binary NOT operation bit by bit on the operand. Bit by bit means you have to convert it into binary and then each bit will have some kind of operation and then it will give you some result. And all of these bitwise works on the bit values, which is the binary values. And then you have left shift and then you have right shift. So in the left shift, this operator shifts the bits of the left operand to left by number of times specified by right operand, and in the right shift it's the vice versa because this operator shifts the bit of the left operand to the right by the number of times specified by right operand. Let's move to the file test operators. So file test operators are multiple and we'll try to use as many as we can in the demo in the next video. So this is hyphen B, it checks if a block spatial, if yes then it returns condition becomes true. You can test it like this, hyphen not hyphen, this is hyphen B, dollar file is false, hyphen C checks if a file is a character special file, if yes then it condition becomes true, hyphen D it checks for a directory, directory means a folder, hyphen F checks it's an ordinary file or supposed to be a directory or a special file, if yes then condition becomes true, hyphen G checks if the file has access of group sgid bit set, if yes then the condition becomes true, hyphen G file that's how you use it, hyphen K check if files have a sticky bit set, if yes true otherwise false, hyphen P check if a file is a named pipe, if yes then the condition becomes true, this is how you do it, hyphen T checks if the file descriptor is open and associated with a terminal, if yes true, hyphen U checks if the file has its set user ID SUID bit set, if yes then the condition becomes true otherwise it is false, hyphen R whether it is check it's readable, hyphen W is writable, hyphen X is executable. If you have paid attention in my last video, I checked a file. When I created a file, it did not have any permission to run. Then I did chmod 777 and then the file name. What is this 777? This 777, this has the first one is read, second one is write, and third one is executable. If the value of executable is not 7, it won't be executed in your system. So there are numbers over there, and then until and unless you provide the value, proper value, it won't run. I'll provide more information on this later. But whenever you create a file through touch, we have used touch in last one, or if you will create file using a Visual Studio, you will do right click, create a new file. It won't run until and unless you do a chmod on it and provide it executable rights, because every time you do create a new file, the permission is not available. If you run it, it is permission denied, so you have to chmod it. You can create a lot of files in a folder and then do a chmod by asterisk all, and then it should work the same way. Perfect. Let's talk about hyphen s. It's check whether the file size greater than 0. If yes, then becomes true. Hyphen e, check if the file exists. It is true if the file is a directory but exists. So that's what written to. So I hope you guys have understood these file test operators. If you are not able to understand it, we'll demo it, so that would be easier for you to understand. Let's move forward. Now this is the most important in the second part of this video. Now, making decisions or conditional statements. There are total of 5 conditional statements in bash scripting or bash programming. If statement, if else statement, if elif else fi statement, which is called as else if ladder, if then else if then fi nested if, switch statement, and this is the fifth statement. So I'll explain each of them by syntax one by one. Let's dive right into it. Before diving, I need you to understand what exactly is tests. So test is used by virtually every shell script written. It may or may not seem that way because test is not oftenly called directly. So there is a syntax for this. As I was explaining just a few minutes back, a test condition is always given in a bar bracket, and if it returns true, then it's true. Otherwise, the condition is false. Test condition can be anything. You can compare a number comparison, a file exists or not, and there are multiple other things. For an example, you can see hyphen e. Just a few seconds back, I was explaining whether the file exists or not will return some value. So slash etc slash password. So if this file exists or not, it will check. So this will check if etc password file exists or not, returns true if it does, false if there is no file. So test is most often invoked via if-else statement or the looping system in it. We'll talk about if-else today. We'll talk about loops in some other video in the future. So let's understand the making decisions part. So the first thing would be if statement. So what exactly is a if statement? So here's a syntax for this. So if checks there is a true condition or not. So this true condition is the bar bracket, which is the test. If condition is true, then it executes the statements. So you can do this, you can do that. Fi. So fi just is spelled backwards, which is kind of understood as finish. I mean, you can say that. Second part is if else statement. If else statement syntax is if there is a true condition inside it, then you have to do this, else you have to do that. Perfect. There is nothing much more hassle about it. One condition gets fulfilled, you have to do this, else you do that. And then fi, which means finish. The third one is else if ladder. Now understand this and pay attention carefully. If there is an expression and this condition gets fulfilled, then it executes statement 1 and statement 2 and it gets over it. That's all. But if this condition is not fulfilled, then it moves to elif. And then elif is also known as else if. It runs an expression, then you have to execute this statement, and it goes out. The control goes out of this block. If the if condition and the else if condition is not fulfilled, then you have to go to else if and then finish fi. So that's how an else if ladder works. The next is nested if. So nested if inside an if statement is known as nested if. So if there is an expression and the condition gets fulfilled, then it executes statement 1 and statement 2. Else there is a one more condition if inside else. So that's why it is known as nested if. So there is an if, there is an else, and then inside that else there is an if condition as well. So if this gets fulfilled and it goes to then this statement, then you have to close the first if, which is fi, then you have to close the second if. Make sure you do this because this is very much important. Let's see the switch case now. In switch case, it's pretty much straight. You have to give case in and then you have to give a pattern. So once you give a pattern, whether it matches the pattern, you can take an input, and I'll teach you how to read the values from the user input in this course as well. So you have to match that. If that matches, it will execute statement L. If that matches N pattern, then it executes statement N, and then you have to ESAC it, which is just opposite of case, which means you have to close it. So I hope you guys have understood this, and this is how we make decisions in this course. I would like to give credit to all the websites that I have used in making this content, which is Tutorials Point and Geeks for Geeks. I have even used, I'll be explaining the code in the next video, and I'll be using their code. I have modified that code. So props to them for their content. So I hope you guys have understood it, and if there is any issue, feel free to comment below and we will address that. So thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next video.